Mets lose 7-2 to the Miami Marlins, being able to sweep the Miami Marlins in this 3-game set of the home opener. And this was just another loss where the Mets just did not show up when it came to either side of things, especially the pitching. The pitching was just horrendous today from Carrasco. The bullpen wasn't too bad, as there was only 2 relief pitchers that they ended up needing to use, but still not good enough. And the inability to sweep the Marlins is sad. The inability for Carrasco to go out there every 5th day and give some sort of a decent start is a problem, and this team is going to need to seriously look at either trading him or cutting him after Justin Verlander comes back, where Tyler McGill, who should be in the rotation coming when Justin Verlander comes back from injury, and he needs to, because I don't know how you just go with Carrasco here anymore with these piss poor starts. And I don't even know who he's lined up to face next, but I sure as hell know it's probably not going to be pretty. But we're going to talk about this game. Before we do, leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload a video or go live next on the channel. So, starts off ugly as he lets up a single to Jazz Chisholm. So, Jazz gets himself a leadoff single. He then strikes out Garrett Cooper. Jazz though steals second. Luis Arias then walks, so you have runners on first and second, I believe, there, with 1 out. And he hangs one right to Brian De La Cruz, who hits one over the Great Wall of Flushing to make it a 3-0 game for the Miami Marlins before the Mets even get a turn to hit. So Cookie's first inning woes seem to be back yet again. Then he gets back-to-back groundouts to end the inning. Bottom of the first, Tommy Pham leading off today. Not a fan of the decision. It was cute for one day. He had himself a nice day when he was hitting lead off that one game. It was cute and all, but he needs to not be hitting lead off when Brandon Nimmo's out of the lineup. They really need to just move Starling Marte up, then move everyone else in the lineup up, that being Lindor, Alonso, McNeil, and just do some sort of combination there, and then hit Tommy Pham either 5th or 6th, because this cannot be the case. But Starling Marte then hits a double, and unfortunately, he ends up stealing third, which was good, but unfortunately, he ended up hitting his head on Gene Segura's knee. So it was a neck strain, I think they listed as the injury that he ended up departing with. So Starling Marte would leave. He ran the bases for the rest of the inning, but he would not return after that, as Lindor and Alonso back-to-back strike out. So Guillorme came into the game to play second base, and they moved Jeff McNeil into right field. So Cookie has himself a better second inning, though. Gets Gene Segura to line out, and then gets Nick Fortes and John Birdie to ground out back-to-back. So a bit better. Mets then get themselves into the game a bit in the bottom of the second as Mark Canha hits a leadoff single. Jeff McNeil then gets a double, so you got runners on second and third. Escobar strikes out. Nothing new here. Francisco Alvarez then getting called up, and he gets himself a single as he gets one down in time right in front of Garcia in right field. That made it a 3-1 ball game. And then Tim Castro, who was in the lineup as well, strikes out Tommy Pham then with the force out. So that ended the inning. Top of the third, Cookie again. Solid 1-2-3 inning. Gets a ground out, a line out, and a ground out in a row there. Bottom of the third, Luis Guillorme leads things off with a single in his first plate appearance. So good to see Louis get a hit. Unfortunately, though, it didn't matter as Lindor strikes out and then Alonso hits into a double play. Top of the fourth, Brian De La Cruz leads things off with a walk. Yuli Gurriel then gets a single. Avisail Garcia lines out, but then the Mets turn a beautiful double play as Lindor flips it with the glove. Guillorme catches it barehanded, and he throws it over the first for a beautiful double play there. That is the end of the inning. We go to the bottom of the fourth, and Sanchez came in for Garcia to play right field, so I don't know what happened there with Garcia, but Canha grounds out to lead off the inning. Jeff McNeil then walks, and then Eduardo Escobar gets a double. Yes, Eduardo Escobar was capable of getting a hit, so that made things second and third. Unfortunately, though, Alvarez with a terrible at-bat, swinging at everything in the dirt, and he strikes out there, and then Tim Castro flies out as Brian De La Cruz just absolutely robs him there of a base hit. So the Mets could have got a run there, but unfortunately, they don't end up getting one there as the Marlins play good defense. Top of the fifth, things got ugly again. Nick Fortes grounds out. John Birdie gets a single, and then he steals second, and just a terrible throw by Francisco Alvarez, who they were taking advantage of all day today, the Marlins. They were stealing bases way too much, and Francisco Alvarez, who's known to not be the best for his defense, yeah, had problems with that. Jazz Chisholm then gets an RBI single, following that stolen base to make it a 4-1 game, and then Garrett Cooper hits a home run to make it a 6-1 game. So, yeah, ugly. Very ugly, what I should say. And then Luis Arias flies out. Brian De La Cruz ends up walking, and that was Cookie's. That was the final line for Cookie there. He gets pulled, and Steven Nagosic comes into the ball game to pitch, and he gets Yuli Gurriel to fly out. We finally make it to the bottom of the fifth after a long top of the fifth. Tommy Pham leads things off with a single. That, I think, was the hardest hit ball of the day as well, or at least by a Met. Luis Guillorme then with the force out. Francisco Lindor grounds out, but Pete Alonso would make it a 6-2 game as he gets himself a RBI single to drive in Luis Guillorme. So, Pete Alonso, big hit there. And then Mark Canha gets himself a double there. So, all of a sudden, hey, we're looking good. Tanner Scott then comes in. He walks Jeff McNeil, and Eduardo Escobar with the force out. Not hitting in the clutch, and no timely hits yet again today by the Mets. And it costed them. Top of the sixth, Sanchez leads things off with a single, and then there is a flyout from Segura. Nick Fortes strikes out, and then Sanchez ends up stealing second. Again, another bad throw by Francisco Alvarez, and Birdie ends up striking out. Actually, I need to correct myself. I don't remember which throw it was, but there was a throw that Francisco Alvarez made that was actually pretty good, where it looked like he got one of them out. It might have actually been the Sanchez play. It looked like he got him out, but they just didn't go to video review because they didn't have enough time. It was either the one in the fourth or here in the sixth. But regardless, I'll give Alvarez credit there. Bottom of the sixth, though, Francisco Alvarez grounds out. Then Tim Castro strikes out. Tommy Pham lines out. We go to the seventh. Nagosic still in the game. Jazz Chisholm strikes out. He wasn't a happy customer, and he gets himself ejected from the ball game after that was, I think, the third or fourth time that he flipped his bat thinking it was ball four and he had a walk. So, yeah, Jazz definitely didn't like the calls from the ump, and he got himself ejected. Garrett Cooper then gets a double. Luis Arias with a single, and Brian De La Cruz, have yourself a day with a sac fly there to make it a 7-2 ball game. That pretty much put the nail in the coffin there, and Yuli Gurriel ended up flying out. Bottom of the seventh we go, and the Marlins had JT Chargos, I think his name is, come into the game, and he only pitched to one batter in Luis Guillorme, who grounds out, but he ended up being injured. Then they had Dylan Floro come in, and he gets back-to-back strikeouts on Lindor and Alonso. We go to the top of the eighth. Nagosic still in this game. He walks Sanchez. Then he gets the force out from Gene Segura, strikes out Nick Fortes. And then this was the really bad throw where Gene Segura stole second, but he was able to advance to third as Alvarez sailed that one to the outfield. Thankfully, though, Birdie strikes out to end the inning. So Nagosic with, I think, like 52 pitches it was. Solid bit of work there in 3 1/3 work of innings, which we'll talk more about. Bottom of the eighth, the Mets can't do anything except for have Jeff McNeil reach on with an error, but that's really about it. Dennis Santana comes in, and he looked good getting back-to-back outs, and like Dennis Santana does, he has to make it interesting as he allows back-to-back singles to Arias and De La Cruz, and then Yuli Gurriel walks. So, yeah, scary moment there, but he strikes out Jesus Sanchez, thankfully, to end it. AJ Puck comes in, Tim Castro gets on with a error, and then Tommy Pham ends up striking out. Guillorme pops out, and Lindor rounds out. That is your ball game. Final score 7-2. The hits were 11-9 in favor of the Marlins. Errors 2 for the Marlins, 1 for the Mets. Your winning pitcher is Tanner Scott. Your losing pitcher is Carlos Carrasco, who was definitely terrible today. So when it comes to the lineup, 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Not going to cut it. 10 runners left on in total. Not going to cut it. Tommy Pham went 1 for 5, striking out twice. You need better in the leadoff spot. I'm sorry he cannot be hitting leadoff when Brandon Nimmo's not in the lineup. He just can't. And we kind of knew going in that Tommy Pham as a leadoff hitter was probably not the best idea, but that still ran with it. Starling Marte goes 1 for 1 in his only at bat, so unfortunate that we couldn't see any more from him throughout the day. Guillorme went 1 for 4. I mean, sure, he's not great with the bat. So, sure. He almost made a beautiful play too. Pete Alonso just couldn't scoop the ball on one of the plays on an infield base hit. I forgot when that was, but Yorme brought some good defensive plays today. Nothing offensively. Lindor 0 for 3 or 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Terrible day for Francisco Lindor. He needs to be a hell of a lot better, and it needs to be soon because I'm getting tired of this. I know he hit a home run the other day, which is cute and all, but we need more of a consistent effort from Francisco Lindor, especially when he's hitting in the middle of this lineup every single day. Pete Alonso went 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Not good enough. Mark Canha, probably the best Mets hitter today, going 2 for 4. He was pretty solid. I don't have any complaints with Mark Canha. Jeff McNeil went 1 for 2 with 2 walks. Pretty solid day for Jeff McNeil. And then he had it a bit tough at one point in right field. He had a pretty bad throw, but it's not like it costed them anything. But still, just wanted to point that out. Escobar leaving 6 runners on, getting the most of the day there. And he went 1 for 4 with a strikeout. Not good. Francisco Alvarez had an awful day on both sides of the plate. He had an RBI, which was good. He went 1 for 4, but he struck out twice, and defensively, he was horrendous. He was really bad defensively today. And the Mets, you could see why they want to go with Tomas Nido back there because of the defensive effort, but Francisco Alvarez has the better bat, so it's kind of it's a hard balance there. But if Alvarez isn't going to even hit, then yeah, you can't play him. You just can't play him. And then Tim LaCastro went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. I wonder how long of a leash he has with guys like Mendick in the pipeline there. Brett Beatty might sniff his way on there too. It's like there's so many guys in the system that you might have come up at some point. But yeah, pitching wise, Carlos Carrasco 4 2/3 of an inning, allowing 6 hits, 6 runs, 3 walks, getting 1 strikeout, allowing 2 home runs. I just don't know why they picked up his option this offseason. I just don't. He was horrendous today. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no way around it. He was horrendous today, and the Mets need better from a 5th starter. Steven Nagosic, 3 1/3, allowing 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk by getting 5 strikeouts. I applaud Steven Nagosic. I thought he had a solid outing, and he was going to allow a run within that many innings of work and that many pitches, so I'm not even too mad. And then Dennis Santana was just okay, allowing 2 hits, getting 1 strikeout, 1 walk. Good for him for getting out of the jam, but man, this guy is he's just not good. He's just not good. But yeah, they're back at it tomorrow for a familiar pitching matchup of Darvish versus Scherzer. Yikes. So yeah, it's going to be harder for me to watch tomorrow's game with the Rangers on at the same time, but I'm going to do my best. But overall, the takeaway that I have, you need to be better with these timely hits. You need to, and Cookie needs to be out of the rotation. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, leave a like. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next. And I will see you in the next one. Let's go, Mets.